Ready, go.
Dan Grider, Probable Cause. It's Sunday night, March 12, 2023. Glad to have you with us in the chat room tonight. It's a long video, and I apologize for that. This thing is going to ramble on and on, but I got so much stuff. We had a lot of accidents. I got one at the end of February I got to talk about. 8 more accidents in the month of March already, and a couple really tragic ones we've got some important details on. But here's what the NTSB said about one of them down in Florida about determining the probable cause. And I'm going to give you the correction to that. Listen to this lady.
Now it is up to the National Transportation Safety Board to determine just what caused that crash.
So actually, the DTSB is going to give you the cause on this one when it comes up in just a few minutes. We're going to sort through all this first, but I made part one of this video. This has to do with the FAA and the new FAA administrator going before Congress to testify to try to get the job of being the FAA administrator.
My colleagues and I were concerned about the many or several parts of your background and your lack of aviation experience. Now, there's many new regulations that the FAA has issued or is in process of developing. Here's one, for instance. The FAA is spending billions of dollars on its next-gen program, as you're aware, to modernize the national airspace system. A key part of this update is moving towards GPS navigation for pilots and ATC. Now, as part of this transition, the FAA recently required airplanes to be equipped with an ADS-B transponder. So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder? Quickly, please.
Thank you for the question, Senator. Not sure I can answer that question right now.
I'm opposed to the concept. I made part one of that video. I'm fixing to make part 2 and part 3. The reason is because we have a structure problem in America going on right now. We have some degraded structure in pilots, mechanics, dispatchers, and specifically the FAA. We don't need any more weakness in the FAA. This has to do with just like an aircraft being structurally sound. You can't fly an aircraft with corrosion in the spar because it will fail. We're about to fail. We've got too many young people, too many inexperienced people, too many people that are being hired because of their last name, their color, race, gender, something like that. We can't do that, and we're going to see accidents. We're going to see deaths. I'm very determined here that this is going to happen, and we need to make some specific changes immediately going forward. The next accident I'm going to talk about is one that you have not heard about because this did not make it into the news. Envoy 3338, March 5, just a few days ago. March 5 in Houston Hobby. Here's the deal. I'm going to play the tape for you. Envoy 3338, brand new female co-pilot in the right seat, taxiing out. Line check airman, brand new line check airman in the left seat. They go to make a takeoff on 12 right at Hobby. The problem was that they were not cleared for takeoff. They pulled out on the runway, advanced the power, went screaming down the runway. Southwest was on short final. Southwest got told to go around. Envoy 3338 got told to stop, 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 stop. I couldn't get the ATC recording of them telling them to stop, but Envoy 3338 specifically attempted a takeoff without a takeoff clearance. They cleared the runway, were told to hold short and go to a holding pattern. Here's the communication. It's kind of staticky, but I want you to listen to this. Here's the communication of the female ground controller giving the call me. Here's the phone number to call. Let's listen to this. Here's them reading back the hold short clearance, go to the holding pen, and copy this number. Listen to this.
Envoy 3338, wind control, make left turn. And exit runway 13 right on hotel runway 13 left. Envoy 3338, ground point 9. Envoy 3338, I need to cross 13 left at hotel and pull over in the hotel pad and let me know when you're ready to copy a number.
Copy that. We will cross runway 13 left at hotel and we will pull off the holding.
So this is just another ATC situation. This has to do with inexperience in the cockpit. I don't know who that was in Envoy 3338, but I can promise you it's got some inexperience in there. And another mistake, we're going to start seeing a rash of these until we see a fatal. I'm very sorry, but we have too much structural problems going on with the National Airspace System right now. We're getting way too many of these. Way too many, and it's gonna happen. Let's go on and take a look. Here's the very end of February. I'm going to give you this accident. This is November 2991. The accident was a Cessna 150 on the 27th of February, 2991 Juliet, Cessna 150. Guy named Caleb Glick. He was 74 years old, and here's what he did. Let's read this is directly from his obituary. On February 27th, he flew to Burlington, North Carolina to pick up some airplane parts. On the return trip, he encountered a squall line with wind, rain, and fog. The radar track shows he made a U-turn, and then the track was lost. It appears that he was attempting to bank right and land when his wing caught a tall pine, which caused him to crash in the woods. He was found February 28th, the next day, by friends from Twin City Airport via helicopter. So I'm telling you, Mr. Glick, age 74, my high-speed graphic here tells you you should pick one of these. Mr. Glick was out here at night in the IMC, in the train, and he added one more. He's trying to fight a squall line in a Cessna 150. It's not going to work out. I can tell you, Mr. Glick should have pulled out his credit card and gone to the hotel and said, we'll do this another day. He'd be alive today. You can make the same aeronautical decision-making. It's not worth you doing that. It's not worth your attempt. If you're in the train with a squall line in low weather and you're in a Cessna 150, I'm going to make a video about you, and I'm going to put your name and your picture on the screen because this is ridiculous. Don't even try it. Go to the hotel and get yourself a cheeseburger and call me the next day. That's all we got to do. Let's take a look at March. Here's the data for March of 2023, and there's 8 of them. I'm going to do it in order here. November 300ER was our first one in the month of March. It's March 3. This is a Challenger 300. I know it says BD 100, but that's really a Challenger 300. They hit turbulence. One passenger died due to extreme turbulence. I'm going to let you listen to the ATC tape on this thing. This is them declaring an emergency, and then they want to return to another airport. But notice how they described what happened in flight. They described it in flight. When ATC asks, they described it as a laceration.
N8150SH. And Airshare 300, what's the nature of the emergency?
Passenger has a laceration.
Laceration, roger. We'll make sure there's medical there for you. And Airshare 300, contact Boston on 133.42. They'll have lower for you.
13342, Airshare 300.
Okay, here's the next one. 804 Echo Rum is a DA40, which is a diamond in Florida. This is a messed up go-around. FAA has reported this as a takeoff accident. It was not. This airplane was on final for Lantana. They came in. They were too high, too hot, and too fast. They tried to do a go-around. Take a look at the ADS-B data here. They were on the approach. This is a go-around in a right turn after a go-around. They lost speed. They pulled up aggressively. They overloaded the wing, and this is a stall spin off the departure end. It is not a takeoff. It's a messed up go-around. They had too much speed for it. What caused their too much speed was an unstable approach. They were finishing a trip to deliver this airplane. This is a new airplane for the flight school. They were finishing this trip to deliver this airplane, and they shot this approach night visual into this airport too high, too fast. They were unstable. They should have never even got down to this altitude. If you're out there doing these unstable approaches, this is going to bite you. But make sure, if you're going to do the unstable approach, make sure you're ready for a stable go-around. Pitch and power, add the power, pull the nose up, and fly wings level, straight ahead. Get some altitude before you even think about a turn. These guys did their full power nose up and right-hand turn all at the same time, and look where it got them. This is their final resting place. 2 dead on this accident in Florida, and that's all it was. NTSB says, news says it's going to take 3 years to figure out what caused this. Wrong. DTSB is going to tell you right now. I can tell you exactly what caused this. This is a messed up go-around. These guys weren't ready for it. They pulled and banked at the same time, and they're dead. Don't do that. Let's take a look at the next one. This is November 3410 Zulu. This is a PA-22 in North Georgia. I actually know the people who own this property. A guy named Jim Clack owns this land up there. So I went up there after this accident. I talked to the son. I talked to everybody. I'm going to show you some video footage of this thing here. Here's a quick interview, and I'm sorry this video is so long. Here's a quick interview, me and Jim Clack in Jim Clack's office talking about this. This is a Piper Tri-Pacer, very low time, very heavy pilot, age 77, very little experience, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's me in a pickup truck going down this runway. This is a 370-pound guy in a tri-pacer trying to take off from this runway with very low experience. Take a look at this takeoff roll as we go down the runway here. And then I'm going to play this tape for you. Here's me and Jim Clack in Jim Clack's office. This is our intro, and then I'm going to take you out to the tree and show you the exact spot where Mr. Peterson died. Down here in the office today at Blue Ridge with my friend Jim Clack. And Jim and I go back a long ways, but this guy is an actual aviation legend, and he's owned, flown, and wrecked more airplanes than I've probably ever seen. It's Jim Clack. How you doing today, brother?
Hello, I'm fine.
Well, you had a tragic loss here the other day. Mr. Peterson, how old do you figure he was?
I understand he was 77 years old.
And the airplane was a tri-pacer?
Tri-pacer.
So tail wheel or nose wheel airplane?
Nose wheel airplane.
Nose wheel. And you were telling me a little bit about somebody heard that takeoff. It lost power twice, you think?
Right. It said as he was taking off, he probably got up about 300 feet, and he heard a backfire. And then it picked up and flew a little bit more, and another backfire, and it quit.
And then when it quit, he ended up a little bit to the left side of the runway. And I'm going to go out there and look at the runway here in a second. But ended up a little bit to the left.
Right.
You figure he was trying to come back?
Well, he was probably trying to come back.
Right.
But like I say, he went off to the right of the runway. He was about 90 degrees from the runway.
Well, he went off to the left on the runway.
Right.
He
went off to the left.
To the left. But the impact, you went down there and saw the airplane when it was still lodged in the tree there.
I did.
It came out of the sky kind of vertical. It didn't land there like an airplane lands. It came out of the sky pretty much straight down, right?
Well, no. I would think it more or less went horizontal into the tree.
Okay.
The way it was stuck in the tree, it was stuck into it like this.
Okay. Well, we'll go down and take a look at the tree. But in any case, sounds like he had quite a bit of space around that tree. Was one of the only trees sticking up down there. He had some field available that he could have put the thing in, right?
If he had any control of the airplane.
If he had any control of the airplane.
Yeah, he could have.
So,
there was other fields there he could have landed in.
So he wasn't aiming for that tree to put it in the fork of that tree. That's just the airplane give up flying is what happened.
That's what I would think.
And at that point, he's along for the ride.
Right.
So when your engine quits, number one, you got to be ready for it, but you got to have. Yeah, I'm centered up good here. Your viewfinder's different than mine here.
Okay.
On the back here, but your summary is that he probably stalled the airplane in his attempt to turn around and probably try to save the airplane and get it back to the runway, which is what most people want to do. They want to save that airplane.
Right.
Yep. What do you figure Mr. Peterson weighed?
360 pounds.
360. So he was a big man.
He was a big man.
77. And how much flying experience do you think that he had?
I really don't know.
But he'd been taking some lessons recently, you
Right.
think?
You're right. He had been taking lessons to be able to get his biannual
Okay.
back.
Right.
So he had taken lessons for several months.
Right. Okay, well, I sure appreciate it. It's good to see you again. You know, you and I have done a lot of airplane deals over the years. I remember a lot of them, and I remember flying in your Cub with my son Drew. He was still wearing a diaper and sucking on a pacifier, and I had him in the back seat of the Cub. But the Cub, the A36, and the L19, and the 182, and the Shrike Commander. I mean, you've probably had 50 airplanes over the years.
I think about 40.
40, yeah. It's been a bunch, but I flew most of them, and I'll never forget picking up that Shrike with you in Oklahoma City, and you're standing there in your blue jeans and your ponytail, wanting to write the man a paper check for this brand new Shrike, and the guy's looking at me like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, just take his paper check. It's going to be a good one." And remember that we flew that thing home.
Yeah.
And then we ended up flying it quite a bit too.
We did.
A whole bunch. So anyway, well, I appreciate that, Jim. Good to see you again. And the T-34. I picked up that T-34 out of here several years ago.
I owned that T-34 25 years.
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's the only airplane In the last 20 years, I've been upside down in. And before I let that thing go, we took out and I went upside down. I had an aerobatic pilot with me and we went upside down in that and did a few things until I said, all right, that's enough of that.
Well, I was up, down in it a good many times and
Yeah.
did loops in it, so it was a nice one.
It was a nice T-34, boy. It was fast.
And it had a 300 horsepower engine in it.
300 horse, yeah, that thing.
3-bladed prop, so
We
it
did
did
a lot.
well.
We did a lot of that. All right, Jim, I appreciate it. We're going to get down and go take a look at this crash site if it's okay with you.
Okay. You have a good day. Appreciate you coming up.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're at the tree here. I'll show you a picture of the tree with the airplane in it. But this is the tree here too, and you can see the branches are broke up high here. So it hit first right here, and then kept on coming right here, and ended up lodged in this tree. Notice the power line right beside it. It never even touched the power line. So this airplane impacted vertical, and here's still, just like every crash site, still pieces laying on the ground, left over from the airplane. There's paint right here. It's a piece of the airplane, and man lost his life right here for sure. But I believe your takeaway lesson here is the impossible turn is impossible, and he proved that to us. He tried to make it back to the runway, and if you notice, there's wide open field all around out here. He hit about the only tree you could hit, and that's because when the wing quit flying, you're coming down vertical, and you have no control. So this is a loss of control fatal. This is loss of thrust on takeoff, mishandled, and never lowered the nose. Never, he could have gone straight ahead. He could have gone anywhere under control. But as soon as you pull and try to turn, the wing will quit flying. And he showed us that here today. Very sorry for this family. I just met Mr. Peterson's son up there in the hangar. They're cleaning out his hangar, and the family is there. It's a tough day for everybody, in our respects to this family with their loss. But you know, I spoke to the son, and he's okay with me making a video, and he agreed. If we can help maybe save one life further down the road by watching and see what his dad did and what he did wrong, it's probably worth it. And we can't bring his dad back, but we can learn a lesson off of visiting this crash site and seeing, please don't turn back. It's called the impossible turn, and there's a reason that we call it the impossible turn. The next one is really sad. This is 8149 Romeo. This is in New York. This is an in-flight fire. Very serious deal here. You may not want to listen to this. This is the actual ATC audio. You can hear the terror in this pilot's voice. He's on fire. Mayday, mayday, mayday.
31 Romeo, right. Quiet. Mayday, mayday. Mayday, mayday, mayday. 49 Romeo.
And you may not want to watch this. Here's the doorbell footage of this airplane actually going in. 3 people on board. They say that 2 survived. I don't know how. This airplane hit hard. It was an immediate fireball. I don't know how the other 2 could have survived this unless they were ejected during the crash. Maybe possible. But in any case, a horrible crash. Probably maintenance related. Something caught fire in flight. PA-28161. It's just a Piper Warrior. Day VFR should have been a totally fine flight, but this, the only thing I can tell you is anything abnormal in flight concerning smoke, fire, you got to get that airplane on the ground like right now. I don't care where you are. Chop the mixture, master off. Don't worry about talking. This guy did too much talking to the tower. Chop the mixture, chop the master, get this thing on the ground any place that you can and get out of the airplane, get away from it. Fire in flight is not good, and you're probably not going to make it. Once fire starts, everything in that airplane, there's fuel, oil, there's stuff, there's things that can burn. everything in there. The fire is going to accelerate quickly. You've got literally seconds to get this thing on the ground, shut down, and get out of it, because once you have a fire, you can't stay up there in the cockpit holding on to the control wheel because it's way too hot up there. Our deepest respects and condolences to this family. This is a horrible way to die. Think about this. Do better pre-flight, better maintenance. Take a look at stuff, your fuel, oil lines, whatever it is. If you had fresh avionics, take a good look and always be ready for in-flight fire, in-flight smoke. It's a big deal. Don't mess around with it. Here's the next one. November 494 Sierra Hotel is a Robinson R44 in Texas. This is clearly unintentional IMC after takeoff. This is a doctor. His name was Dr. Glenn Hyde. He's 56 years old. He had his girlfriend on board. They made a takeoff. They rotated right up into the clouds. Their entire flight lasted 56 seconds until they were dead. They rotated off his private house trying to get to the next destination. They rotated right up into the goo. Private pilot, helicopter, no instrument rating, no instrument training. Can't do it. And this flight lasted exactly 56 seconds, and here's the path. You can see this thing as spatial disorientation right into the earth. They're dead instantly. IMC in a helicopter when you're a private pilot is not good. I can't fly a helicopter day VFR. I can't do it. These things are like tricky and they're unstable. It's like trying to balance a basketball on a pencil. It's ridiculous. Some people can do it. You got to really know what you're doing to fly a helicopter in the clouds. I don't. Guess what? I don't get in a helicopter, and even if I had a helicopter rating, I certainly wouldn't go fly one IMC and try to hover up into the clouds. The whole thing is, I know it can be done, but this is big boy stuff. These guys, he's a doctor. I'm sorry, he's a doctor. He made a takeoff trying to impress his girlfriend. I'm sure he rotated right up into the clouds, and it's over. 56 seconds from pickup to crash is all he had. Let's take a look at the next one. This is November 10510. This is the J3 in combination with November 9221 Delta. This is the very unfortunate PA-28-161 crash in Lakeland, Florida just the other day. Two airplanes got together. Now, if you notice, here's the track for the Warrior. The Warrior's flying left traffic for runway 29. They've been doing touch and goes. 24-year-old Faith Baker is flying the airplane. She's got a very young student with her. Jack Baker is using a J3 Cub, and guess what? The J3s in the Jack Baker seaplane base do not have electrical system or radios or ADS-B. The Warrior could not have known that they were there because not only could they not see them, they weren't talking to them. In addition to that, the Jack Baker philosophy is very old school. They don't like radios. They don't like CRM. They don't like some of this stuff. I know a lot of you are Jack Brown fans. I am too. There's some good people. It's a lot of fun. Seaplane flying is fun. However, I had tons of people write to me and call me and tell me about Jack Brown Seaplane Base and how they specifically did not want you to pay attention to other airplanes, radios, or anything like that. Here's a video that I stole from somebody else's location. This is actually a student flying the Super Cub, and he was instructed to turn the radio off, and this is a video of him turning the radio off at the instruction of his instructor who was in the back seat. Check this out. So that's pretty telling to me. All the people have told me that they specifically tell me to turn the radio down, don't listen to the traffic. What should have happened here at this airport, if I'd been the FAA administrator, this would have been right traffic for 29 so that the seaplanes could stay on the south side of the airport. The left traffic for 29 with a seaplane base down there on the south side of the airport is absurd. Of course these airplanes are going to get together, and especially the mix. You got all these seaplanes with no electrical system, no ADS-B, and no communication. Like, how is this supposed to work? Somebody should have spoke up a long time before now and said, this is insane. And I'm very sorry. 4 people lost on this. We're just now getting the wreckage up and secured and stuff like that. NTSB says that they're going to try to figure out what happened. Here's the excerpt from NTSB right now telling you what they found so far.
The Piper Cherokee came out of Lakeland Airport and was N number 221 Delta.
The Warrior was on a descending left base and flew head-on into the departing J3, who was taking off opposite on the base leg. He was taking off from the north part of this lake head-on with the descending left base traffic. the perfect mix of high wing, low wing. They couldn't see each other. They never saw each other on ADSB, and they certainly never talked to each other. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in us as a community that we didn't see this coming. Somebody should have stepped in and said, hey, Jack Brown, get some radios, get some ADSB. And somebody at the FAA should have said, when seaplane operations are in effect, let's use right traffic for 29. Just keep all these fixed-wing land planes up on the north side of the airport. Would have totally solved this. Like, why not? I don't get it. Maybe somebody can tell me why this has never been addressed before and how we could possibly cram all these airplanes doing seaplane operations and land plane operations into the same little piece of airspace on the south side of the airport. Makes no sense to me. Here's the next one right here. This is November 8424 Victor. This is an S2R, which is basically a turbine thrust. It's got a Garrett-12 on it. This guy, I'm sorry, he flew into the power lines. He was spraying. Not much more to talk about. This is, he didn't see the power line. He hit it, and he's dead, and I'm very sorry. And that concludes our 8, a total of 12 dead bodies for the month of March so far, and not a very good month. I'm going to go on and talk about real quick. I did one more flight here recently with a guy named Tom Wright in the DC-3. Here's a couple excerpts. This will be a standalone video called a ride-along video, and I'll put it up here very shortly. This is a great video. Just enjoy it when it comes out. It's a ride-along video. Just a random guy that wanted to fly the DC-3. It's a good advertisement. You can do the same thing, and I'll show you when that video comes out how I do those. And you get left seat. I'll let you do everything. And you're just renting the airplane. We'll go out and doing some dual instruction. I'll sign your book. I'll do whatever you want to do. It's a great time, and I appreciate this last guy that was here just a few days ago. Tom Wright from Florida drove up to fly the DC-3.
All right, Tom, what do you got to say? Isn't that cool? That's cool. Huh? I'll show you an airplane out here. We got an airplane that's pulled up alongside of us, so we'll open the window. And there he is right there. All right, so who's this? Pin pusher. And what kind of airplane you in?
We are in an RV-14 that's just been built after an 8-year process.
Now, an RV, is that like a camper?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It sleeps too.
Well, you're looking pretty good out there. That's pretty nice. I got Tom in the seat here, and he's doing all the flying. He drove up from Florida today.
All right. Well, hey, Tom, you're challenging me here.
Yeah, it's a little bit bumpy out here. So, what kind of RV is that?
This is an RV-14, the correct kind with the little wheel in the back.
I like it. So you don't need the nose gear endorsement.
Exactly.
Oh, that is spectacular, man. All right, if you could pull on ahead of us, I'm going to video again, and if you want to pull ahead and brake right, we'll brake left.
All right, here we go. See you guys.
See ya.
Oh my God.
What do you think of that, huh? That was cool. Totally awesome. All right, let's get you right back towards the airport again, get you another landing.
Thanks, Dan. That was awesome.
Great job, brother.
Hey, man, we'll talk to you soon. Let's have lunch sometime.
It's on you, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll put time, absolutely.
I'm kidding you, that'd be great, brother. I'll look forward to that.
Hey, man, we'll see you soon.
Let's go on with a little bit of schedule here. I've got a dog flight coming up very, very soon. Dog flight, our very first one. The DC-3 now has its emblems on the side. Animal rescue is properly displayed, and this is going to be a dog flight, and I'm really looking forward to this in the very near future. This is coming up. Before that, I got EAA 611 March 20 in Gainesville, Georgia, if you want to go to that. EAA 611 Gainesville, Georgia will be a great time. Contact them for tickets and location, all that kind of stuff. EAA 611 Gainesville, Georgia. And then shortly after that's going to be Sun and Fun. I'll be down there for a few days, mostly playing my banjo and not doing very much important, but it should be a great time in Sun and Fun. Then shortly after that, we got a couple other meetings to do. But the next big trip on the DC-3 is going to be March 14, 15, and 16. Don't forget Air Mart, Lexington, Kentucky, April 14. Then I'll be at Purdue University, April 15th. The next day, which will be a Saturday. And then on 16, we'll be down in Dixon, Tennessee, April 16. And that's like a 3 or 4 day trip. It should be a lot of fun. And I'll definitely carry banjo, bass, and tacos on that for my safekeeping. tacos in case of emergency, and plenty of instruments. I keep instruments in the DC-3 water flying. Sometimes ATC controllers will ask you if you're instrument qualified. I always answer them. I say, as a matter of fact, I am. What would you like to hear? But they don't ever get it. But there's plenty of stuff on the DC-3. I hope to see you on the road in the next couple months with this thing. And then here's really big information here. I know I got to get this video done, but I got a huge video that I want you to watch, and I need your help. This comes out Wednesday night, March 15th. This is a huge story. This is a continuation of my cop story in Griffin, Georgia. This is a continuation of this story. I'm going to tell you what's going on. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to tell you the whole story. I'm going to show you some video footage, and I'm going to tell you what's going on with this. As a matter of fact, that whole thing is completely insane. Now, I got to talk real quick about the Texas thing before I get out of here. You remember I did 528 Charlie Whiskey. That's the PA-32. That's the Lance, the T-tail Lance. I went down to Louisiana and had dinner with my friend Renee. Well, all that's been resolved. I'm going to put this video up next. Here's the deal. I did call the mayor of Bryan, Texas. His name is Bobby Gutierrez.
Hello.
Hello, Bobby.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Dan Grider, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the airplane out there that's still on your property. Do you have a minute to talk to me?
I'm actually here at City Hall right now. Is there a way I could give you a call back?
Yeah.
This is my cell phone. I'm in a meeting right now. Just text me that number and your name, and I'll call you back.
Okay. I'm traveling. Can you give me a time estimate so I can look for your call?
When I'm finished with this meeting, then I'm going to text that into the Century, to the council.
Okay.
What's it called? The cancer's deal, so I can call you when I'm on my way over there.
That'd be perfect. Thank you. And I got the whole story. Bobby agreed to call me back, which he never did, but I did get this text message from Bobby, and he told me in text that he had already released that airplane. It's a complete lie. Here's what I want you to know about this thing. The airplane, November 528 Charlie Whiskey, was being held by Bobby Gutierrez, who's the mayor, but he did not own the property. He was demanding $250,000 at a minimum to release the airplane, which to me, in my opinion, constitutes extortion. I did get a nasty email from Bobby Gutierrez's attorney. I'm going to show that to you on the screen right now. The whole thing is complete garbage. The good thing is that everybody in Bryan, Texas spooled up for this, the news stations, the people, and finally we turned enough heat on these people, they gave up. They're going to leave me alone. They're going to give him his airplane back, and they did not want to deal with Dan Grider over this. They opened the gate and said, fine, you can have your airplane back, which is a win. Now we got Renee's story on what not to do, which is totally good, but we also got his airplane back for him. They do not want this to go public. Too bad. It already is. I'm going to put Bobby's picture right here. This is Bobby Gutierrez, mayor of Bryan, Texas, that did this to this man. I'm pretty disappointed. Whoever this individual is, he's about 5 foot tall, short man syndrome, and I think there's some serious problems down here in Bryan, Texas, but I'm going to leave that all up to you. I don't like it. All I can tell you is they did not want to see another Dan YouTube video about this story, and they called it. Here's the Zoom meeting I had with Renee right here. This is the conclusion of this, and you can see us talk through what happened here. I wanted you to hear in Renee's own words, he received the phone call from Bobby Gutierrez over them keeping his airplane. Here's that call next. All right, Renee, good to see you again. I want to say thanks again for your hospitality down there in Louisiana. The Louisiana folks always treat me good, and I appreciate that. And tell me the update here. This is pretty exciting news.
I got a phone call this morning from the city of Bryan, the economic development person, chair, or whatever. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, but he called me. Very nice, very nice. Told me to please get my airplane off their property immediately. Immediately. So I contacted my insurance company, and we are working that, and hopefully I'll have my airplane back, or at least in a hangar in College Station by early next week. That is my hope.
Oh, yes, sir, you will. And behind the scenes, we organized an entire network of people down there. They raised a ruckus. And the problem is that, in my opinion, this is external of you, Dan's opinion, is there's some bad politics and there's some corruption going on, and they did not want any of that coming to light. My video put a spotlight on there. I'm going to show you a picture of where your airplane is still sitting as of yesterday. Here it is on the screen right here. And guess what? They don't want the public pressure. And now they're scurrying to get that thing done. And we accomplished 2 goals. We helped some pilots with some important techniques that you shared with your experience. And we also got your airplane out of that man's field.
Yes, sir. And Dan, I appreciate it, buddy. It wouldn't have happened without you, man. No doubt.
I appreciate that. I want to go back and revisit real quick before we jump off of here. Your airplane crash, November, what was the N number on that thing? November
27th, 2 days after Christmas.
27th.
December 27th.
December 27th. What's the N number on your airplane?
528 Charlie Whiskey.
528 Charlie Whiskey, and it went down in that field. So 2 days after Christmas, and then you got a phone call from the mayor. His name is Bobby Gutierrez. Early January, you got a phone call. You told me about it firsthand. Your phone rang. You did not place a phone call. You received a phone call, and on the other end was the mayor, Bobby Gutierrez. Tell me about that phone call, early January.
It was in the morning. It was raining at home there, and he just said that he was the mayor of Bryan, and that I told him the only thing I want was to get my airplane out of there, like now. He said that he needed some money, that a contract or something got messed up because my airplane out there, the embryos or something to that effect got messed up in his longhorn cattle. And I said, sir, you can stop right there. Talk to my insurance company. I have insurance on the airplane. I'm sure they'll be willing to work with you on that. But he said something about the damages were going to start at $250,000. Now I understand he told my insurance company a different number, but that's what he told me. I can't say what he told the insurance company. I didn't hear it. Correct. But I know what he told me.
Correct. And now, once again, this is my opinion only. I'm going to leave you out of this. This is my channel. This is Dan speaking. This is the mayor of Bryan, Texas. His name is Bobby Gutierrez, and he placed a phone call demanding money in return for your airplane, and that's extortion. That should be prosecuted. In my book, that's extortion, and it's illegal. There's a lot of corruption. I'm going to give you the full story on what's exactly going on down there. The city of Bryan, Texas has organized an organization called the Bryan Business Council. It's got a bunch of members on it. Bobby was elected as the mayor of position, and as a benefit of becoming the mayor, he gets to appoint who becomes on that Bryan Business Council. Bryan Business Council is an actual corporation authorized to buy and sell land. Bryan Business Council is actually the owner of the land where your airplane is sitting. Mr. Gutierrez does not own that land. He only leases it. I have not been able to obtain the documents yet telling me how much he pays per year to lease the ground to keep his cows on. He is not the owner. For him to come in behind the scenes, claim he was the owner, and demand $250,000 is insane. That's how come you got a call today. And I'll tell you who you got a call from. You got a call from a guy named Kevin Russell, Bryan Business Council. That's who you got. He's the economic development guy. That's who you got a call from. And yes, now that we've put the heat on them, they want this over. They don't want anybody to know about it. And this is some bad, bad politics. I hope that some people down there hear about this and hear what this guy did. This guy, Bobby Gutierrez, all I can tell you is he's a public figure. I'll repeat, he is a public figure, and I'm not a fan of Bobby Gutierrez in any way. And Mr. Rene, I appreciate your friendship. I'm glad you got your airplane back. Most of all, sir, I've met your family and your son. I'm glad you're alive, sir.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you for everything. And I failed to mention on my first video, and I want to acknowledge right now, the EMTs, the police, the firemen, everyone who met me out there on the day that I landed that airplane on that field were amazing people. And yes, I will always remember them. They were great people. And if nothing else, I met some fantastic people that day. I just want my airplane back. That's all I want, Dan. I just want my airplane back.
I get it, and I'm glad that we were able to in just a few days. It saved me a trip. I'm still going down there in about a week. I got 2 news stations that want to talk to me on camera just outside property because now they want this story. I'm still going to go down there. I'm going on camera, and I'm going to tell this story because I believe some sunlight deserves to be shed on this thing. You ever see the deal when you turn on a light and the mice scatter?
Yeah.
We turned a light on this deal, and boy, are they scattering and scampering. They don't know what to do now, and they did not want any public attention. They didn't want anybody to know about this deal. Too late. Now everybody knows about it, and I'm mostly thrilled, Renee, that you're still alive, and you and I are going to live to eat another fine Louisiana meal together again at some point. I guarantee you.
Yeah, you will. And Bryan, emergency personnel, good folk. Thank you, Dan, for everything you've done, buddy.
Yes, sir, Renee. Have a great night, and thanks for taking my call tonight.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So that's it. I got to get out of here. I want you to know we had a great time up in Knoxville last week, and we took the DC-3 up there. I did get to work with the Youth Sky program. I'm going to be making a video. I had 2 kids to solo. I got one soloed that morning. The other one was not quite ready, but I'll include all that information in the video. I'm going to make a special video that ends up staying up for a long time. Excellent program, Youth Sky program, Knoxville, Tennessee. We did a great banquet. The food was fantastic. The people were fantastic. Thank you to that EAA chapter up in Knoxville. I don't have any video from the banquet, but we sold it out. We had 150 tickets sold for a banquet hall that only holds 100, so we did good. Everybody had a great time. No one got seriously killed or anything like that, and we totally enjoyed it. Made it back from that. Here's a quick video clip. I don't have time to play the banjo on this video here right now because I gotta get this video up and on the air, but I'm going to include this little video clip. This is me and Toby sitting in the lobby of the FBO, pulled out a guitar and fiddle. It's so dumb. This clip is so ridiculous, but it's all I got because it's the only music clip I've got handy, and I'm gonna throw it on here at the very end so you can just see how stupid we are when we play music and stuff like this. Is so ridiculous, and all I can do is apologize every place I go. Most of the time I have to go back a second time to apologize. Like when I grew up, my parents always had to take me back a second time. I was always taken back a second time for the apology, and I got used to that, but that's what it is, and I appreciate you hanging with us here this evening. It's been a long video. I'm gonna get this up and on the air. Here's the video of me and Toby playing, and I hope that you will stay alive out there. I hope I don't have to come to your town and make a video about how you died in your general aviation airplane. For my tiny little itty bitty fledgling YouTube channel, Dan Ryder, Probable Cause. Gentleman down in Knoxville, he was looking for steal. He was in a bind, he was way behind me. Looking for a free meal. He came across this fiddle player, jumped up on his stump and said, "Boy, Ted," then someone, "Boy, let me tell you what." They said my name is Toby, and it might be a sin. So I told you once, you son of a gun, because I'm the best there's ever been. Fire in the jump in the house of the rising sun. It'd be a really cool song if I could remember all the words. I can. And right now I could use a beer. So I've been playing my heart out for the last 3 days. I gotta fly this old DC-3, and I'm out of gas, and I'm out of oil, and I'm about to get the air. Run, boys, run! Pick it out, Dory! Raise the pressure from the door! how it goes, right there. Isn't that exact?
Great job.
Isn't that exact?